Welcome. We are going, excuse me, to get started on the Insight Timer app. Well, and also here momentarily. Please feel free to come and join us on the Insight Timer app if you want to be part of the live interaction. It is a free app if you are unfamiliar with it. And again, welcome to those of you who are just joining. Come on over to the Insight Timer app. Hi, friends. Welcome. Great to see you. Great to be together. Just gonna step back here, do a little sound test. See if you can, I can't decide what volume to have this, but see if you can hear me, if you can hear the music at all. Ideally, we want the music to be subtle, not very loud, so that it's not distracting. And two, for those who don't really enjoy music, it's always a balance. Yes, we often practice in silence. Today we'll have some music. So just checking, how's the sound for you, my friends? Can you hear me clearly? How's the visual? Can you see well? Hi, Kay. All right, we'll get started in about a minute. A bit choppy. Okay, is my voice choppy, Kay, or is it the music? Because if it's the music, we'll just kind of let that go. I turn the music down, so I'll step back here and just do a sound check again to see if you can hear me clearly. You probably can't hear the music anymore, and we'll just work with that. But can you hear me clearly? That is one of the trade-offs of having good noise canceling software, so that my voice comes through clearly. If we choose to have music, it's not it's not the best sound. Looks like the chat is running really slowly today for some reason, so I'll just wait a moment. Can't hear the music. Seems like mic and voice has a little lag. Interesting. I wonder if I need to. Well, is anyone else experiencing what K is? Is there any kind of a lag or some issue for you in the sound of the mic? Let's just see if we can uh, address this issue if it is uh, coming from my end. Okay, none on my end. Okay, so Kay, you might just want to restart the session. Maybe leave and come back. Oh, and Stacy also says there's a lag. But Sarah says it's perfect. Okay, so if you're having a lag for whatever reason, yes, I invite you to maybe restart the session, leave, come back. Thank you all so much for your feedback so we can make sure that things are sounding good and clear for our time together. All right. Sorry, give me just a moment. My sweet mama wants to join us and she doesn't know how. So I'm just sending her the link again. Thank you all for being here. If you have any props you like to use, please have those available. Okay. And we're going to probably get a, oh, you're here. You made it. Oh, look who donated. You sweet, precious, kind thing. That's my mom. Okay. I guess I should come a little closer so I can see you. Hi, friends. Wonderful to be together. Welcome, welcome. Mm. For anyone that I'm getting to meet for the first time, my name is Selena Lael. I lead live sessions each week, although I'm about to travel, so please check my live schedule on my profile page to see when I'm actually going to be here, because there will be a shift over the next few weeks. I have many live recordings. I'm very happy to share that I have some new sleep meditations that will be released this weekend and the beginning of next week. So we can look forward to having some deep, nourishing support for sleep. I also have a 10-day course, Yogic Practices for a Peaceful Life. And we have a group, a community group. It is called Love Heals All. And everyone is warmly welcomed to join us in our group, Love Heals All. So thank you again for being here. Our time together is such a gift. And welcome. Feel free to share in the chat where you're joining from, what time of day it is. I know for me, I'm in Hawaii and it's 12 noon. I know for many of you, it's bedtime or past bedtime or the middle of the day. So feel free to share where you are. Today's session is going to be Ashtanga inspired, Ashtanga Yoga Asana. But before I dive into that, I'd just like to briefly remind or share for anyone who's kind of newer to the practice of yoga that the physical practice, these postures, they are only one aspect of yoga. Yoga is truly a beautiful life path. Maybe I'll have a talk, or we can have an experience together sometime soon on the 8 limbs of yoga. So these asanas are just one aspect, and they're fantastic for serving our bodies and our whole being, our energetic systems in so many ways. Yet there's so much more. And the word yoga actually means union. So we can think about this as union with all aspects of our own self coming into equanimity, harmony, alignment. If you believe in things unseen, maybe this physical practice brings you into harmony with your own beloved higher self, source energy, presence, God, however you wish to think of it. So even though we are on the mat moving the body, this is part of a beautiful path that we can take on to live the most equanimous, harmonious life available to us. This session today is listed as intermediate. Normally, that's only because I don't break down all of the cues the way that I would in a beginner session. However, today there might be some poses that feel a little more challenging for someone who's very new to the asana practice. Whether you feel you are very new or very experienced, I really invite you to come to your experience today with curiosity and awareness. Take as many resting postures as you need. You don't need to do everything that I'm doing. You don't need to do it exactly how I'm doing it. Yes, if you have a different style of asana that you practice, please honor your body. That's the most important thing for me. Take care of you. This is about you with you. As I was mentioning before, today we're going to move into an Ashtanga Yoga Asana inspired practice, meaning we're not going to do traditional Ashtanga, but it will be somewhat similar in some ways. We may hold some of the poses longer. We may change some things around. One of the main reasons I'm sharing this is because we're going to move through that transition we call Vinyasa many times, maybe more than some of you are used to. So I'd like to invite some alternatives. And if you're unfamiliar with the Vinyasa, this is this movement sequence where we come from a standing position and we fold forward, we step back to a plank pose, we lower down to the belly or chaturanga, we come up. Yes, it's this whole little movement of fluidity in the spine between poses. So we're going to be doing more of that today. So I'd like to offer some options, alternatives. Who, first of all, should choose an alternative? One, if you feel like you need a more restful practice today, please feel free to skip as many or even all of those transition poses. That vinyasa, please feel free to skip it. You can come directly into the next pose. You can actually stay seated where you are to move on to the next side. And that will make more sense as we move into the practice. You can also just take a resting pose or only downward dog. Please feel free to modify is what I'm really wanting to express here. So again, those of you who are feeling like you need a more restful practice today, please feel free to skip or modify the vinyasa. And those of you who have not spent conscious time in your life developing strength in your shoulders and your core, if we try to do too many of these, it can start to exhaust us and maybe even strain the muscles. So if you know you're just kind of working into this, maybe do a few and then rest for the others rather than engaging them. So again, this is really about your body awareness, taking care of yourself, and making sure that your body is safe and feeling good, more or less, as we move. Okay, any questions? That was a lot of explanation today. So I'm just going to check over here, see if we have any questions before we get started. Thanks for saying hi, where you are, friends. All right. I don't see any questions coming in. So again, this is an invitation to really honor your body. We're going to start standing for this practice. And I'll chant the opening Ashtanga mantra. If you're unfamiliar with it, no issue. Maybe just feel the vibration of these words, or just close your eyes and focus on your breathing if that feels best for you. We stand at the top of the mat, palms touch. Feel the crown of the head lifting up toward the sky. Chin is slightly tucked so that the energy can move freely up and down the spine. Feel a micro bend in the knees. We're going to start to find a very active standing pose here. Allow the pelvis to be neutral and gently draw the navel toward the spine so we start to awaken this midline core. Feel the chest gently lift up into the thumbs. And we'll take a breath to begin. Inhale. Vande Guranam Charanarvinde Sundare Svatma Sukhavabode Nishreyase Jangali Kayamane Samsara Hala Hala Moha Shantim Wabahu Puru Shakaram Shanchakrakasi Darinam Sahastra Shirsam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim. If you wish to set an intention, a sankalpa for your practice, do so now. If your eyes are closed, open them. Wonderful. As a reminder, our 60-minute session began at the chanting. So we always begin our 60-minute practice after the introduction. So we'll begin as of now. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bow through center. Inhale, half lift and lengthen, flat back, fingertips to shins. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, plant the palms, step or hop back, high plank. Lower down knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga to the belly. And then come up for cobra with the pubic bone making contact with the earth, or upward facing dog with the thighs completely off the mat. Make your way back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. We'll take 5 slow, deep breaths. Root down through the base of the index fingers and thumbs. Hug the navel toward the spine. Inner elbows roll forward. Feel the heels slightly pulling apart to activate the legs. You can always bend your knees here if there's a lot of tension in the back body. Inhale, look forward between the hands. Exhale, bend the knees to step or lightly hop to the top of the mat and fold forward. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, half lift, long spine. Exhale, fold. Press into the feet, option to bend the knees. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up, palms touch. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up, lengthen. Exhale, bow through center. Inhale, half lift and lengthen, flat back, shoulders pull back. Exhale to fold forward. Bend the knees, plant the palms, step or lightly hop back, high plank. Lower down knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Inhale, bhujangasana or urdhva mukha svanasana. Make your way back, downward facing dog, adho mukha svanasana. 5 slow, deep breaths. Find all of those little cues in your body to stay active in the pose. Look forward at your wrists. See that the creases of your wrists are parallel to the top of the mat. Inhale, look forward between the hands. Exhale, bend the knees, step or lightly hop to the top of the mat, fold forward. Big toes touch, heels are slightly apart. Inhale, half lift and lengthen, weight in the toes. Exhale, fold. Press into the feet. Inhale, rise up, option to bend the knees. Exhale, hands to heart. Beautiful. Continue. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, half lift and lengthen, weight in the toes, shoulders back. Exhale to fold. Bend the knees, plant the palms, step or lightly hop back and move through your vinyasa. Or as I shared at the beginning, you can skip the vinyasa here and just come back to downward facing dog, 5 breaths. Feel the shoulders pulling up away from the ears. Remember to engage the navel toward the spine here. Let's protect that beautiful low back. Inhale, look forward between the hands. Exhale, bend the knees to step or lightly hop to the top of the mat, fold forward. Inhale, rise all the way up, palms touch. Exhale, hands to the heart. Bring the big toes to touch. Heels are slightly apart. Hug the navel toward the spine. Inhale, sink the hips back and down. Reach the arms up, Utkatasana. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, half lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, plant the palms, step back, high plank, move to your vinyasa, or just come to downward facing dog. Bring the left foot in toward the midline. Softly step the right foot through between the hands. Lower the back heel. Hips are square to the top of the mat. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Sink down in the hips. Exhale, touch down. Lift the back heel. Step the right leg back. Move through your vinyasa. Or just come to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Right foot steps in a little toward the midline. Softly step left foot through between the hands. Lower the back heel. Inhale, rise up, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, touch down. Lift the back heel, step the left leg back. Vinyasa. Or just downward facing dog. 5 breaths. Remember, you can bend the knees here if there's a lot of tension in the back body. And you can always skip the vinyasas, especially if you need a little more warm-up time. If Ujjayi Pranayama is part of your practice and you haven't engaged that, you can do so now. Inhale, look forward between the hands. Exhale, bend the knees, step or lightly hop to the top of the mat, fold forward. Sink the hips down, reach the arms up, Utkatasana, rise all the way up. Exhale to bring the hands to the heart. Big toes touch, heels are slightly apart. Sink the hips back and down, reach the arms up, Utkatasana. Exhale to fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift and lengthen, hug the navel in. Exhale to fold. Bend the knees, plant the palms, step, or lightly hop back. Move through your vinyasa. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Right foot steps forward, back heel drops down. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Hips are square to the top of the mat. Open the heart. Exhale, touch down. Lift the back heel. Right leg steps back. Move through your vinyasa. Left foot steps through between the hands. Lower the back heel. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, touch down. Left leg steps back. Move through your vinyasa, or just come to downward facing dog for 5 breaths. Remember, you can always take a resting posture here. This might be a nice time to bring the knees down and take these breaths in child's pose if that feels good. Whatever serves your beautiful system today. Inhale, look forward between the hands. Exhale, bend the knees, step, or lightly hop forward and fold. Sink the hips down, reach the arms up, Utkatasana, rise all the way up. Hands to the heart, beautiful. We'll move through Surya Namaskar B one more time. Sink the hips back and down, reach the arms up. Inhale, exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold forward, bend the knees, plant the palms, step or lightly hop back, move through your vinyasa, or just come to downward facing dog. Right foot steps through, lower the back heel. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, touch down, lift the back heel, right leg back, lower. Inhale, open. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, left foot steps forward, lower the back heel. Inhale. Exhale. Lift the back heel, left leg steps back, move through your vinyasa, or just come to downward facing dog. 5 breaths here. Feel free to take child's pose or any resting pose you wish. What is happening inside? What are you noticing in your body, mind, and emotions? We'll take a couple of extra breaths here. Inhale, look forward between the hands. Exhale, bend the knees to step or lightly hop forward and fold. Sink the hips down, reach the arms up, Utkatasana, rise up as you inhale. Exhale, hands to the heart, beautiful. Let's just take a moment here. Release the arms down by the sides of the body. Drop the shoulders back and down, crown of the head lifts up toward the sky. Allow your gaze to be soft, looking downward. I was speaking with a group the other day about how so many people say things like, I can't stand yoga, or I really don't like yoga. And one of the reasons, and of course we're speaking about the physical practice, one of the reasons so many of us feel that way is because when we practice the physical aspect of yoga, we really have to face whatever's going on inside. We're taking time where we're not distracted, where we have to feel discomfort in the body, feel discomfort in the emotions, feel agitation in the mind. So it's a profound gift to give ourselves this time and space, even though it may seem very uncomfortable. That is where the richness and the healing is, in my opinion. Beautiful. Bend the knees a little. Hop the feet apart if they're not already, so they're just about hip distance apart. Hug the navel toward the spine, hands to the hips. Inhale, lengthen up through the spine. Exhale to hinge forward. Of course, you can bend the knees here as much as you need. Reach your hands down and take a hold of your big toes with your middle and index fingers. You're kind of creating a little loop with your fingers and your thumbs gently touching. Inhale, lengthen the arms, lengthen the spine. Exhale, really fold forward. Now, if you have really open legs here, the elbows might bend out to the side. 5 breaths. Continue to hug the navel toward the spine. Feel the crown of the head reaching down and also release any sense of strain in the neck. Inhale, lengthen the arms, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Release the toes, bend the knees, lift your right foot, and reach your right hand underneath the foot so that the palm is making contact with the sole of the foot and the toes are in the crease of the wrist. Now, of course, if you can't do this, that's okay. Just do whatever your body's wanting here. Lift the left foot, reach the left hand under. Again, the palm is touching the sole of the foot. Inhale, lengthen the spine, lengthen the arms, maybe straighten the legs. Exhale, fold. 5 breaths. Remember, my loves, comparison is the thief of joy. What are you grateful for to your body in this moment? Inhale, lengthen the spine, lengthen the arms. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, lift the feet to release the hands. Bring the hands to the hips. Hug the navel toward the spine. Press into the feet to rise up. Beautiful. Release the hands to the sides of the body. Hop the feet back together. Lift your right foot and then swing your right foot back behind you. So we're taking a semi-wide stance here. Turn your left toes toward the back of the mat, your right toes toward the back of the mat. So now we have this stance where the back toes are slightly turned in and the front toes are turned toward the back of the mat. Square your hips to the left side of the mat. Hug the navel toward the spine. Reach the arms out to the sides. Gaze over right middle finger as we prepare for Trikonasana, triangle pose. Inhale. Exhale, reach out through the right arm. Keep all of this length on the sides of the body. Just release the arms. Left arm is up, right hand is down, probably to the inside of the right thigh. We're not going to twist in the hips for this version. Let's take 4 more breaths here. Keep lifting the upper arm up and lift your front toes to activate the right leg. Beautiful, friends. Breathe deeply. Press into the feet. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, change sides. Back toes turn in. Left toes now point toward the top of the mat. Hips are still square to the right side of the mat. Open the arms wide. Hug the navel in. Inhale. Exhale, lengthen. Keep all of this nice space here. Just move the arms. Lift the front toes. Gazes up toward right thumb. 5 breaths. Inhale, press into the feet, reach the arms up. Exhale, let's turn the feet toward the back again. Left toes turn in, right toes turn toward the back. Bend your front knee a little to lift that back foot so that you can actually turn your toes more toward the back of the mat. We're changing our stance here a little bit, so it's more comfortable to have both of the hips facing the back of the mat. Bend your right knee as much as you need to here. Right hand is on the hip. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, reach the left arm down, maybe coming for the outside of the right shin, or maybe all the way down to the outer edge of the right foot. Now, of course, if you have a block here, please feel free to use the block.
Root down through your right big toe, hug your navel toward your spine. Feel your right hip pulling back in space to lengthen the right side of the body. Reach the right arm up to the sky if that's comfortable for balance. Maybe turn your gaze up toward the right thumb. 5 breaths. Revolving triangle pose. Inhale. Exhale, look down at your right foot, press into the feet, rise up, windmill the hands. We're going to go all the way over to the other side. Right toes turn in, left toes turn toward the top of the mat. A little bit of brain food today with this sequence. Lift the back heel so you can square the hips toward the top of the mat. Bend the front knee a little here. And again, if you're using a block and you have one, feel free to have that block to the outside of the left foot. Right hand to the hip, hug the navel toward the spine. So we're supporting the low back, or excuse me, left hand to the hip, right hand reaches up. Inhale. Exhale, reach the right hand down for either the outside of that left shin, maybe all the way down to the ground or to the block. Root down through the left big toe. Feel that left hip gently pulling back in space. Maybe the left arm reaches up. Maybe you lengthen through the spine and turn your gaze toward the left thumb for 5 breaths. Relax the face. Inhale. Exhale, look down at your left foot, press into the feet, windmill the arms up. Beautiful energy moving here. Bend into the front knee, step the right foot forward. Moving on into our lunge. Swing the right foot forward and then swing it back behind you. This time our stance is wider than it was for Trikonasana. Nice wide stance. Turn the left toes in again and the right toes out. So we're preparing to lunge toward the back of the mat here. Now we have a couple of options here. One option, if you're feeling a lot of tension in the hips, which some of us are, you can just come down for this side angle pose, maybe with the elbow on the thigh here. If you'd like to work into it more deeply, you can play with bringing the right hand down. Maybe you can actually bring the right palm all the way down to the outside of the right foot. So play with this in your body, and we'll reach the left hand alongside the ear. Gaze is toward left thumb. 5 breaths. Relax the lips, the forehead. Inhale, press into the feet, windmill the arms up, change sides. Back foot turns in, left foot turns toward the top of the mat. And again, you can either come down here with the elbow on the thigh, see the back toes are slightly turned in, or you can bring that left hand down to a block on the outside of the left foot or all the way down to the floor. Outer edge of the back foot roots down. Right arm reaches out along the ear, gaze toward the thumb, 5 breaths. Beautiful. Press into the feet. Inhale, rise up. Let's face the back of the mat again. And here we'll take a little modification. Lift that left heel so you can bring the left knee down to the mat. And we're going to play with this twist here. Because we're warming our bodies up still, and many of us are unfamiliar with these postures or we don't practice them regularly, we really want to go mindfully into this pose. There's something I like to think about when it comes to our yoga asana practice, and it's that just because you can doesn't mean you should. meaning many of us are actually flexible enough to get into different pretzel poses, but that actually doesn't mean that we have the strength or that we know how to engage the muscles properly to make sure that we're not injuring ourselves. So I invite you to consider that when you get on your mat. Just because I can doesn't mean that I should. Sink your hips forward. Reach the left arm up. Cross the left arm to the outside of the right leg and see if you can start to bring that hand down. Now, for some of us, we're going to actually be able to reach the left fingers down all the way to the outside of the right foot. I'm working with some back stuff right now, so I'm not going to take this twist as deeply as I might. Let's have the left hand at the hip, and we'll just take this for today, 5 breaths. Of course, if you're familiar with the full pose, please feel free to do that if your body's ready. Wonderful. Release the cross of the hand. Feel free to bring your hands down if that helps you rise up. Otherwise, we're just going to press into that back foot, into the front foot to rise up, and then turn ourselves the other direction now. Lift the right heel to lower the right knee down. Yes, we're working with strength here as well as flexibility. Right hand reaches up, cross it to the outside of the left thigh. And again, we're only going as far as this feels safe and comfortable. If your left hand is touching all the way down to the ground, to the outside of the left foot, make sure that feels safe for your body. And again, we'll just leave the left hand to the hip here, 5 breaths. Wonderful. Uncross the arm. And again, bring your hands down if you need to support yourself up. Otherwise, press into the back leg, press into the front leg, release the foot down. You can heel toe that foot in a little if you need to step all the way to the top of the mat. Wonderful. Hands to the hips, lengthen up. Swing the right foot forward. And now swing it back. We'll take a really wide stance here again. Turn your toes in slightly. Hug the navel toward the spine. Roll the shoulders up and back. Inhale, reach the arms up, lengthen up. Exhale, hinge all the way forward. Now, of course, actually, forgive me, let's come to a standing pose here. We all have different bodies. So if you have a block, please feel free to have 1 or 2 blocks here so that if you can't bring your hands all the way down, you can always work with a block, however that suits you. If you do have that spaciousness to come all the way down, feel free to follow me into the full pose. So again, toes are slightly turned in. Let's activate the thighs. So feel the kneecaps drawing up. So we have active legs. Navel draws towards spine. So we're supporting the back. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Hands to the block. Maybe the hands stay to your hips if you don't have a block, or maybe the palms touch all the way down, fingers point in the same direction as the toes. Bring the wrists beneath to the elbows if that's possible. Fold yourself toward your thighs. Inhale, lengthen your arms, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold forward. 5 breaths. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, lengthen the arms, lengthen the spine. Exhale, press into the feet to rise up. Activate the glutes, strong legs support us to rise up. Open the arms out. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the hips. Pull the elbows back. Hands are onto the back sides of the hips if possible here. Really open the front of the chest. Inhale. Exhale, draw the kneecaps up, hinge forward, navel towards spine. Keep the hands on the hips. Keep pulling the elbows back. 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Press into the feet. Inhale, rise up, strong legs, strong core. Exhale. Inhale, reach the arms out. Exhale, interlace the hands behind the back. Maybe begin to straighten the arms. Draw the kneecaps up, active legs. Shoulder blades pull back, navel draws in. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, hinge forward. Lift the knuckles away from the spine. Toes are slightly turned in here. Breathe 5 breaths. 1, 2. Shoulders pull up away from ears. 3, 4, 5. Press into the feet, hug the navel toward the spine, rise all the way up. Beautiful. Exhale here. Hands to the hips, bend the knees, turn the left toes toward the top of the mat, and step yourself up to the top of the mat. Big toes touch, heels are slightly apart, palms touch at the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up, lengthen. Exhale, bow through center, option to bend the knees. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, weight in the toes. Exhale, fold. Notice if there's any more fluidity in your energy here. Bend your knees, step, or lightly hop back, and then either move through your vinyasa or just come to downward facing dog. Remember, no need to strain here. Beautiful. We're going to take a variation here. So bring the big toes to touch. Inhale the right leg up and back. Bend the right knee, stack the hips, let the toes fall behind. Lift the knee a little higher. Beautiful. Inhale, lengthen, square the hips. Option to stay here or bring the knee to the nose, high plank. Inhale, up and back, lengthen. Exhale, knee to right elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, cross the body, left elbow. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, softly step the right foot through between the hands. Lower the back heel. Inhale, windmill the arms up. Square the hips to the left side of the mat. Sink down, Virabhadrasana 2. Beautiful. Gazes over right middle fingers, 5 breaths. Sink a little deeper. Maybe right knee is above right ankle. Crown of the head is over the pelvis. Beautiful. Inhale. Exhale, windmill the hands down, lift the back heel, step the right leg back, move through your vinyasa, or just come to downward facing dog. Big toes touch. Inhale the left leg up and back, bend the knee, stack the hips. Inhale, square the hips, lengthen the left leg. Option to stay here or knee to nose, high plank. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, left elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, right elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, softly step left foot through between the hands. Lower the back heel, back toes are slightly turned in. Inhale, windmill the arms up, hips are square to the right side of the mat. Sink down into that front knee, Virabhadrasana 2. Gaze is over left middle finger. Hug the navel toward the spine. Crown of the head lifts up over the pelvis. One more breath here. Windmill the hands down, lift the back heel, step the left leg back, move through your vinyasa, or just come to downward facing dog. Beautiful, friends. Let's take 5 breaths here. Really notice what shifted in your body. All of this movement and breath. Where is there more freedom, space, or awareness of where there's not? Beautiful. Inhale. Exhale, release the knees to the mat. Cross your ankles, make your way back onto your bum. And you can, of course, always take that transition however it works best for your body. Extend the right leg out. Actually, maybe I'll face you for this part of the series. Right leg is out. Sorry, this would be your right leg. Right leg is out. Left sole of the foot comes in to the inner thigh. Hips are square to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, hinge forward. Relax the hands down. Relax the head and the face. If you're familiar with the bind here and you have a lot of length in the backside of the body, you're welcome to bring the hands underneath and find your bind. Binding doesn't make you any cooler, any more spiritual, any more beautiful. It's a gift if that's where your body is, and if that's not where your body is, it's not necessary. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, if you have the bind, release it, rise up. And we're just going to change sides here. Extend the left leg out, bring the right foot to the inner thigh, hips are square to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen the spine first. Exhale, hinge forward here. Janu Shirshasana. Again, you can just have the hands resting down, or if you wish to take the bind, feel free to do so if that feels right for your body. 5 breaths. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, release the hands if you have them. Rise up. Beautiful. Let's move into, we'll take one final vinyasa for today. Beautiful job, my friends. Let's cross the ankles, rock your weight forward, make your way up into your high plank. If you wish, remember, you can absolutely skip this. Lower down, rise up, cobra, or upward facing dog. Make your way back, downward facing dog. And then you can just bring the knees down, cross your ankles, and rock onto your bum if that suits you, or however that works to come down. All right, Navasana, boat pose here. Extend the legs out. We have a couple of options here. Again, if you haven't been conditioning your core, feel free to just hold it for a breath or take whatever modification you need to so that this works for your body. Let's start by just bending the knees and bringing the belly and the chest forward. Many of us will find ourselves back here. So see if you can start to lift your belly and your chest up and toward your knees. Now, for some of us, this is already enough core activity, and you can just hang out here. Stay here, breathe maybe 5 or 10 breaths if you're feeling like it, and then just take a resting posture, just sit, and you can watch for the rest. But this is a great place to start if you're just working on building that core strength here, or that abdominal strength more so. If you're comfortable here, you can release the arms out in front of you. And maybe play just with lifting one foot. Now you might notice, all right, that's my maximum. Feel free to take a few breaths on one side and then a few breaths on the other. If you can lift both legs, start with bent knees if that feels most comfortable. And if you know it feels okay to play or to just be here, you can extend through the legs. Continue reaching the chest open rather than collapsing down. Shoulders draw back. Beautiful, friends. Let's see if we can take 3 more breaths in whichever pose you're holding. Great. Let's cross the legs, drop your hands down. See if you can lift your bum for just a moment and then bring it down. And we'll come right back up wherever we just were. 5 breaths. I'm doing a lot of shaking today. Wonderful. Cross the other ankle on top if you can remember. Feet down, palms down. See if you can lift your bum and then come down. One more time. Whew, beautiful. You got this. Wonderful. Opposite ankle crosses. I think that was the one. Feet down, palms down, lift and lower. Oh, beautiful. Bring the soles of the feet together. Let's butterfly, pulse the legs for a moment here. And again, just notice what's happening inside. What has shifted for you in our time together? Maybe you're ready for bed. uh, Beautiful. Extend both legs forward. And then let's make our way onto the back. If you are newer to bridge pose, I invite you to please watch first. We never turn our head in this pose, so it's important to know what you're doing so that you don't have to turn your head. Feet are planted on the earth about hip distance apart. Have the feet about far enough forward so that you can maybe just brush the backs of the heels with your middle fingers. Now, we all have different bodies, so some of us won't be able to even reach our heels, and that's okay too. Just find this position more or less where the ankles are below the knees. Turn the toes in slightly. And I guess my ankles aren't exactly below them, but pretty close probably. Maybe no, they're below, maybe a little further in. Okay, great. Press your low back down into the mat and feel how when you press your low back down, the tailbone starts to tilt up toward the sky. Press into your feet. Squeeze your glutes to start to curl your spine up off of the mat. Remember, we're no turning the head here. No turning the head. Lift the hips up toward the sky. Option to stay here or interlace the hands and tuck the shoulders under you one at a time. Lift the hips even higher and then relax the glutes. If the knees feel like they're splaying, make sure the toes are slightly turned in. Bring the knees back toward each other. Let's take 3 more breaths here. When you're ready to come down, untuck the shoulders, release the hands, roll down the spine nice and slowly. Allow the knees to fall into one another, one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Close your eyes, reconnect with your intention, or maybe just this awareness of how you are, what you're needing. Wonderful. We'll come into our bridge pose one more time. If you're familiar with wheel and you would like to go all the way up and you're feeling open enough for that, please feel free to do so if you are comfortable walking yourself into that pose. Let's align the feet first in alignment with the hips. Maybe you can brush the backs of your heels with your middle fingers. Toes are slightly turned in. Press the low back down. Gaze is up toward the sky. Curl the spine up off of the floor. Interlace the hands. Tuck the shoulders underneath you if that's comfortable. Remember, the toes are slightly turned in. Press the hips up to the sky. And then relax the glutes. Maintain the lift. 3 to 5 breaths. When you're ready to come down, untuck the shoulders if they are. Release the hands, very slowly roll down the spine. Allow the knees to fall in, one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. What is something kind, loving you could say to yourself? Wonderful. Keep the feet wide. If they've come closer together, you can take them out wider toward the edges of the mat. And allow both knees to fall over to the right. So the feet are wide, and we're taking this really front of the hip opening twist here. You can bring the arms out to the sides if that feels good. Maybe cactus if you don't have enough room. Option to stay here, or if it feels good, you can cross the right ankle on top of the left outer thigh or knee. If the ankle is stacked, release it. Bring it down. The feet are still wide. Move the knees through center and all the way over to the left. If you need to lift your hips and kind of find center again, do that. Allow both knees to fall to the left. And again, if it feels comfortable, you can cross the left ankle on the outside of that right thigh or knee. Wonderful. Release the ankle if it's stacked. Bring yourself back to neutral. Walk your feet in this time. Press the feet down to lift the hips and recenter. Lift the knees up toward the chest and allow both knees to fall to the right. We'll take a deeper twist here. Gaze turns over the left shoulder. Lift the knees to slowly move through center. Drop them over to the left. Gaze is over the right shoulder. And for anyone who's here for the first time, firstly, warm welcome. And secondly, just a reminder that we always start our 60-minute session after the introduction. So we still have 10 more minutes of practice.
Inhale to bring the knees back to center. Hug the knees in, rock a little side to side. Extend the left leg down the mat, hug the right knee into the chest. Bring the left knee up, interlace the hands in front of the left knee, extend the right leg down the mat, hug the knee in. Bring the right knee in. Allow the knees to fall out wide. Bring the hands to the outer, what are these things called? Shins. Lift the soles of the feet up toward the sky. Take a hold of the outer shins, or if you can reach, bring your hands all the way up to the outer edges of your feet. Soles of the feet are up to the sky. Maybe the ankles come above the knees for happy baby. Knees are nice and wide. You can rock a little from side to side, start to create a bit more of an opening in the hips. Upper body is as relaxed as possible. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. Release the legs or the feet, hug the knees in again. If you can, wrap your arms around the front of the knees, maybe even take opposite elbows or come as close to this wrap as you can. Curl your nose up toward your knees. And then squeeze, curl your toes, flex your feet, squeeze your glutes, your legs, your face, your arms, every part of the body. Really contract everything into this tight little ball. Every muscle contracted. Take a deep breath in, hold this contraction. And then exhale, let it all go. Extend the legs down the mat. Feet are wide, toes fall out to the sides. Arms alongside the body, palms up to the sky. Make any adjustments that you need for this Shavasana to be comfortable. We'll be here for a little longer today, which is nice. So you may wish to have a pillow or bolster behind your knees, a blanket, something to cover your eyes. Once you find a more or less comfortable position, I invite you to remain still. In Shavasana, we become that loving awareness, which we are, rather than responding and reacting to sensations of itching or needing to move or mental or emotional agitation. We witness it all. We just give it all permission to be, rather than being controlled by reactions. We practice resting in this observance. Allow your breath to be however it is. Give yourself permission to be however you are. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. I invite you to stay in this pose for as long as you wish. If you're ready to complete practice, slowly begin to deepen the breath. Very mindfully move the fingers and toes. Maybe move the wrists and the ankles as well. Feel as if you're sensing your body for the first time. This beautiful gift, this beautiful friend that is the body. Without this body, we wouldn't get to experience all of the beauty, the tender moments, the joys, the pleasure. This body is our most loyal friend. Inhale, reach the arms up by the ears. Exhale through the mouth. Slowly roll over onto one side, bend your knees, and take an extra breath here. When you're ready, use your hands to slowly come up to the seat, a seat with the eyes closed. We'll complete offering the benefit of our practice to all beings and all of creation. May all be happy, peaceful, and free. Peace, peace, peace. We'll chant Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu 3 times, and then Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The palms touch in Anjali Mudra. Feel the sternum lifting up into the thumbs. Take a breath in. Loka Samasta